Good afternoon and welcome back to Girded with Truth. Thank you so much for joining us today and don't forget to share. Today we're continuing or concluding our message on discovering your assignment. And you know, the Lord is really speaking to us or has been speaking to us this past week about our assignment. Our assignment is very important and is not to be taken lightly. It's a very serious part of our Christian walk. Today we're talking about possess your possessions. God has given each one of us a possession, something, a promise that He has spoken to us about. And God is saying today, right now, it's time to possess it. God is saying to us, go forth and possess it. Genesis chapter 47 verses 25 to 27 says, "And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants." And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day that Pharaoh should have the fifth part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions wherein and grew and multiplied exceedingly. In one part of Joseph's life, he was being betrayed by his brothers. He was being put in a hole, he was being sold. But God brought Joseph to this place where he was able to preserve grain for not just his family, but for the whole country of Egypt. Joseph was a pillar in Egypt. He also became a pillar to his family. And as we continue to observe here, the Israelites told Joseph that he had saved their lives. As he saved their lives, they said, okay, we will be Pharaoh's servant. So in receiving grace from Joseph, they were able to not just secure grain, but secure their possession within Goshen, within the land of Egypt. This possession that they came into made them abundant. It made them fruitful. It caused them to multiply, because the last part says they had possession therein and grew and multiplied exceedingly. So we see here, because of the sacrifice of Joseph, because of what he went through, because of him being led of God, he was able to bring the Israelites, bring his family into a large place. He went beforehand to secure a place for his family. And a lot of us today, God is calling us into a large place, but we don't know how to interpret it. We feel like we don't know how to do it. But God is saying, if you would follow me, if you would trust me, I will bring you into that place. Joseph did not obtain this by anything he had done, but he obtained this by the mercy and the grace of God. And we see Isaac also obtaining grace from God based on the promise and the covenant that God had made with Abraham. Genesis chapter 26 verses 12 to 16 explains it, and it says, "Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. And he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants. And the Philistines envied him for all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the day of Abraham his father. The Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we." And a lot of times we think when we receive blessings, everybody will be happy for us. But not so. Sometimes our blessings and our greatness make us enemies with people. Here we see Isaac becoming enemies of the Philistines because of what he possessed. But sometimes when the grace of God is upon our life, it does not mean happiness in the sense of people being happy for us. Sometimes that brings envy. Abimelech and his kingdom would have operated by works. So they would have worked and developed and grew to the place that they were. But here comes Isaac with the grace of God and the favor of God upon his life. And he grew in a short space of time, because it said that he multiplied within the same year. What Isaac received in the same year, it may have took Abimelech and their men years to accomplish, and so envy came. And a lot of times when we get into a wealthy place, we think, okay, we are able to help others and we will now be happy. But sometimes it comes with contention, because sometimes when we possess our possessions, it means that other people become envious of us and then they ask us to leave. But you know what? God has given it to us. And if their God had given it to them, they would have also possessed it. So God is saying today, you don't worry about nobody else. You go forth and possess your possessions. And if you think that you don't want to face the enemy so that you will not possess your possessions, God is saying with you, it's not even about you possessing your possessions for yourself, but it's about my relationship with you. Numbers chapter 32 verse 5 explains this when it says, "Wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan." So these people were afraid, so they asked for grace in the sight of the Lord to remain where they were. God does not ever want us to remain where we are. He wants us to go forward, multiply, take the land, possess our possessions. But here they are saying, no, we don't want to possess our possessions. We are comfortable where we are. And if you are comfortable right now, I bind that spirit of comfort and I rebuke it, because God doesn't want comfort that will deny us from what He has given to us. Numbers 32 verses 10 to 12 says, "And the Lord's anger was kindled the same time, and he sware, saying, Surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord." And here we are seeing that God is telling them that nobody, none of you, shall inherit the land. So the Lord was upset with them because they refused to launch out into their destiny. They refused to pick up and move forward. They wanted to dwell in comfort so much that they sacrificed their assignment. They sacrificed their calling, and therefore their possession was sacrificed. Don't allow your possession to be sacrificed because of your opinion. God did not ask their opinion. He required their obedience. So today, I am saying to you, do not give God your opinion. Instead, hold on to obedience. Instead, go forward in obedience and possess your possessions. Only Joshua and Caleb grabbed hold of their possession because they were willing to follow God no matter what. Numbers chapter 14 verses 23 to 24 says, "Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoked me see it, but my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and hath followed me fully. Him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it." So we see first it starts off by saying Joshua and Caleb will inherit the land, but it stresses on the part that Caleb is the one with the different spirit and he will inherit the land, because Caleb went forward in faith, but Joshua was on assignment. So Caleb went forth because he had a mindset. He had the spirit that was saying, we can take this thing, we can conquer it, we shall possess our possessions. And Joshua was the man of war that would help them to possess their possessions. So nobody else from the older generation entered into it, but but Joshua and Caleb went into it because one was a man of faith and one was a man of war. Whatever you have to possess your possessions is because you have discovered your assignment. Caleb's assignment was to have faith and to go forward in the Spirit of God, and Joshua's assignment was to go forth and fight the war. You have an assignment today, so you discover your assignment so you can grab hold and possess your possessions. Numbers 33 verse 53 says, "And ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess it." So God is saying here, you have to dispossess the people who are in your land, who are in your territory, who are in your blessing, who are in your possession. He is saying you have to dispossess them and you will possess the land. You will possess that promise, but you have to dispossess those that are currently trying to fight against your promise. It will not come easy. It takes a fight, but God is saying you have it in you. He placed it in you. Fight for it. We spoke about fighting for it earlier this week. And as we have an assignment, as God has given us our promise, as He has given us the land, we have a responsibility to dispossess who is holding our promise and possess our possessions. Deuteronomy chapter 11 verse 31 says, "For ye shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you, and you shall possess it and dwell therein." So here we are seeing, even though the people asked not to go over Jordan, God is saying your promised land is in Jordan. So go forth and possess your possessions. No matter what you think about the promised land, no matter what you think about your assignment, God did not ask your opinion. He asked your obedience. He requires your obedience. He says that you can possess the land. He says you have to possess the land, but first you must cross over Jordan. There is no avoiding Jordan to get to the possession, to get to the promise, but you have to cross over Jordan and grab hold of your possession. Today, God has sent me to tell you, discover your assignment. But as you discover your assignment, you will possess your possession. He has given us a command to go forth and possess our possessions. It is time. The devil has fought us long enough. Now it's time to launch out, grab hold, and receive what God has for us. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.